Hello, word nerds. This is the dictionary. Thank you for listening to this podcast. Okay, so the first word is cease and desist order. 4 words. What? We don't usually see 4 words. It is a noun from 1926, an order from an administrative agency to refrain from a method of competition or a labor practice found by the agency to be unfair. Somebody says, hey, you're doing something I don't like. Please stop. Next is cease fire. 2 words with a hyphen. Noun from 1859. 1. A military order to cease firing. 2. A suspension of active hostilities. Please, let us not shoot our guns anymore. Please, the firing, it has to cease. Next is ceaseless. Adjective from 1570. Continuing without cease. Synonym is constant. Ceaseless, there is no ceasing happening. And again, you've heard me say this many times. This word sounds so weird. As in, ceaseless efforts. Ceaselessly is an adverb, and ceaselessness is a noun. Next is Cecropia moth. Cecropia moth, yes, 2 words. Cecropia is spelled Cecropia. Noun from 1885. A large North American Saturnaid moth that is brown with red, white, and black markings. And the scientific name is Hyalophora cecropia. Yep, that's what it is. There is a picture of a cecropia moth. It's got different shades of. I mean, it's a black and white drawing, so I don't get to see the red. But yeah, we'll have to post a picture of the cecropia moth. Let's see. This is from the left Cecropius, which means Athenian, from the Greek Cecropius, which is from Cecrops, which is a legendary king of Athens. So yes. For some reason, they thought that this moth should be named after the legendary king of Athens. Next, we have cecum, C-E-C-U-M, or you could spell it C-A-E-C-U-M for some reason. This is a noun from circa 1721, a cavity open at one end, and then the example is as the blind end of a duct. Okay, and then especially the blind pouch at the beginning of the large intestine into which the ileum opens from one side and which is continuous with the colon. Cecal, C-E-C-A-L, or C-A-C-E-C-A-E-C-A-L, those are adjectives, and cecally is an adverb. How could something be an adverb of the cecal? I guess maybe cecally, yeah. This is from the Latin intestinum cecum, and that literally means blind intestine. So yes, that is what that is. Next we have CED, all caps. We're not done with the abbreviations. You thought they were gone. They're still here. This is an abbreviation for Committee for Economic Development. Next is cedar, C-E-D-A-R. We're going to see a bunch of words that start with cedar. Noun from the 14th century. 1a, any of a genus of usually tall coniferous trees of the pine family, noted for their fragrant, durable wood. And the example is as the cedar of Lebanon or the deodar. What is the deodar? D-E-O-D-A-R. It's not capitalized, but yeah, must be some kind of tree. By the way, the genus name is Cedrus, C-E-D-R-U-S. Anything else for that? But okay, now we're going to move on to 1b, any of numerous coniferous trees that resemble the true cedars, especially in the fragrance and durability of their wood. They have very fine wood, very good and durable wood. All of the cedars, it sounds like. Let's see, there are some examples. The genera is Juniperus. That's one of them. Another one is Chamaecyparis, Chamaecyparis. I don't think it's a ch sound. I'm going to say Chamaecyparis. And then there's another one, another genus is Thuja, Thuja, and those are all of the cypress family. Number 2, the wood of a cedar. And cedary is an adjective. Let's see. I think my parents, when they finished up their basement, they got some closets made down there, and I think those may have been made of cedar. I can't remember. But yeah, it's a very distinct smell. Next is cedar apple rust. There's a hyphen between cedar apple. Noun from 1946. A gall-producing disease, especially of the apple, caused by a rust fungus that completes the first part of its life cycle on the common red cedar and the second on the leaves and fruit of the apple. So you got to watch out for this. The scientific name of this fungus is... This is intense. Whoa. Are we going to read this? We're going to try. Okay, it is Gymnosporangium juniperi virginia... This is the word that I get hung up on. Virginianae. Yeah, that was fun. And then the scientific name for the red cedar that it mentions is Juniperus virginiana. So maybe it's in Virginia? Okay. Next is cedar bird. All one word, even though I said it separated. Cedar bird. Noun from 1883, and we have the synonym cedar waxwing. Oh, we're going to see that shortly. But first, we must talk about cedern. So we just added an N to cedar. Adjective from 1634. It is archaic, and it means made or suggestive of cedar. It is cedern, but now I think we just say probably cedary. We add a Y. Next is cedar of Lebanon. I had no idea that Lebanon was known for its cedars. Okay, so that was 3 words. Doesn't say if it's a noun. No, but it should be, right? It is from the 14th century. It is a long-lived cedar native to Asia Minor with short, fascicled leaves and erect cones. And the scientific name is Cedrus libani. Maybe we should find a picture of the cedar of Lebanon. Next is cedar waxwing. That was what we talked about with the cedar bird. I'm guessing it's a bird. 2 words, noun from circa 1844. A brown, gregarious American waxwing with a yellow band on the tip of the tail and a pale yellow belly. Yellow belly. The scientific name is Bombycilla cedrorum. So I'm guessing it must live in cedar trees, right? Why would they name it the cedar waxwing if it didn't live in the cedars? We'll have to post a picture of the cedar waxwing, obviously. Next is cedar wood, all one word, noun from the 14th century. I'm just realizing it would have been so great if I could have gotten Nick Offerman on this episode to talk about cedar. I don't know if he likes cedar wood, but maybe I can find out which wood he likes and then he can be a guest on that episode. Nick, are you listening? Probably not. Okay, this is a noun from the 14th century. The wood of a cedar that is especially repellent to insects. Well, that's good for us because we don't like insects biting us. Next is seed. It is not S-E-E-D. It is C-E-D-E. Seed. This is a verb. Looks like it's just transitive from 1749. 1. To yield or grant, typically by treaty. 2. Synonyms are assign and transfer. And cedar is not the wood. It's very confusing. It is C-E-D-E-R. It is a noun. That is the one who is doing this yielding or granting. This is from Latin cadere, which means to go, or withdraw, or yield. And I believe this would be related somehow to cease that we had before. You know, in some way, probably. Next we have Sadie. Yeah, Sadie. But it is spelled C-E-D-I. That's not how I would want to pronounce it, but that's what the book tells me. It is a noun from 1965. It doesn't give a definition. It just says, see the money table. So it's some kind of money. What is it? Says it is from the Twi language, T-W-I. Let's check this thing. That is not an abbreviation for anything, so I'm guessing that is the full name of the language, Twi, Twi. Their word is Sedi, Sedi, and it means cowrie, Cowry. So Sedi, cowrie, it's money. And next is Sedilla. It is a noun from 1599. I'm going to assume that you can also pronounce it Sedia because of the double L. This is a diacritical mark placed under a letter to indicate an alteration or modification of its usual phonetic value. All right. So I have actually been wondering what this mark is called for years. It is a cedilla or a cedia. So this, it says it's placed under a letter, and then it is the example is a C, the letter C in French. And the example is the word facade. So there's in the word facade, which is spelled Facade. If it didn't have that little symbol, you would probably want to pronounce it facade or facade, but that's not how it's pronounced because there's a little symbol called a cedilla under it, and that means that you have to pronounce it differently than the normal way. What are some other examples of this letter, this symbol being used? I can't think of any off the top of my head. What does the etymology say? It is Spanish, from the obsolete letter C with the symbol under it, so it was like its own letter, which, by the way, is actually a medieval form of the letter Z. Okay, thank you. Cedilla or cedia is a diminutive of seda or zeta with the letter Z, from the Latin zeta, and there's more at the word zed, Z-E-D, which a lot of people use that to say the letter Z. I like Z, they like Zed, that's fine. So it's very much related to the letter Z. So when you see that symbol under the C, you can sort of pronounce it like a Z, not always, but sort of. It's a cedilla. And our next word is the last word of this episode. It is C, spelled C-E-E. It is a noun from 1542, and it is just the letter C. So we had cease and desist order, cease, fire, ceaseless, cecropia moth, secum, CED, cedar, cedar apple rust, cedar bird, cedern, cedar of Lebanon, cedar waxwing, cedar wood, seed, sadie, cedilla, and C. I am going to pick cedilla as the word of the episode. I really truly feel like it should be pronounced cedia because it is a Spanish word, but they don't say that here, so I'm very confused. Do I have to sing a song about cedilla? The symbol below the letter C in the word facade is called a cedilla. That was terrible. The words, the holidays we have today. In U.S., it is Cesar Chavez today. It is also Manatee Appreciation Day. Yes, we should appreciate our manatees. They're the cows of the sea. They are very chill and cool, and especially in Florida, where most of them live, I think they get real close to the boats, and the boats have these engines on the back with blades, and they chop up their backs, and that is very bad, and they don't deserve that. So be careful with your boats. Yes, please and thank you, and appreciate the manatees. It is also International Transgender Day of Visibility, and this is definitely a good thing to celebrate. I believe that we are getting better with visibility and acceptance of different gender issues, different feelings of gender all over the world, all over the place. Gender is a construct. Gender is in your brain. You do you. And so this is a very good thing that we're getting better at. We are so not there, but we are definitely getting better as a world society. So yes, be visible of your transgender friends. It is the 43rd day of Lent. It is the 4th day of Passover. In Malta, it is Freedom Day. It is National Sunflower Day in Argentina. It is also in Azerbaijan, Day of Genocide of Azerbaijanis. That sounds terrible, but obviously a good thing to remember and discuss. It is in Thailand, King Naklao Memorial Day. In New Jersey, it's Thomas Mundy Peterson Day. Hello, Thomas Mundy Peterson. I don't know what you did. It is Transfer Day in the U.S. Virgin Islands. It is World Backup Day. Oh, now I feel like I got to click on this to figure out what this is. You didn't take me to the right place? I don't know. I'm just going to assume that means back up your files. Because, yes. And it is Bunsen Burner Day. That is the fun holiday. It is the last day of March. How did we get here so quickly? Yay for the end of March. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to the dictionary. It is April 1st, April Fool's Day. If you're going to play a prank on somebody, please, have it not be so extreme. Be nice. Don't do anything too bad. Just, something, that everybody can laugh at the end. I think that's it. Oh, maybe I'll sing a little song. That is the theme song for today. The first word is ceiba. 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 Noun from 1764. 1. A massive tropical tree of the silk cotton family with large pods filled with seeds invested with a silky floss that yields the fiber kapok. I'm not sure how to pronounce that word, which is spelled K-A-P-O-K. Kapok. Kapok? Kabak. And then number 2, we just have the synonym kapok. This is a Spanish word, probably from the Taíno word ceiba, which is spelled exactly the same way, so I would think it's more than probably, definitely, right? Next is seal. Yeah, seal. C-E-I-L. This is a verb. I think it's just transitive from the 15th century. 1. To furnish, as a wooden ship, with a lining. Number 2. To furnish with a ceiling. Oh, ceiling. Seal. Is it literally a ceiling? Probably. Let's see, this is from the Middle Latin caelare, perhaps from the Latin caelare, which means to carve, from caelum or caelum, which means chisel, akin to the Latin caedere, which means to cut. Next is, we will see ceiling shortly, but first we must talk about this fun word, which is pronounced Kaylee. Kaylee, yes, but it is spelled two ways, C-E-I-L-I-D-H. You didn't see that coming, I bet. Or you could spell it I can't even do it. C-E-I-L-I. That one makes more sense. Kaylee. This is a noun from 1875. Wow, there's like 3 lines of etymology and 1 line of definition. It is Scottish and Irish, and it means a party with music, dancing, and often storytelling. Well, that sounds wonderful. It is a Kaylee. So this is from the Irish Kaylee, spelled that shorter way, and the Scottish Gaelic. Oh, that's the more complicated one, of course, Gaelic, which means a visit or a social evening or a party with music and dancing. From the Old Irish, spelled C-E-I-L-I-D-E, which means a visit. From C-E-I-L-E, which means a servant or companion or neighbor. Interesting. Akin to the Welsh word C-I-L-Y-D-D. Clearly do not know how to pronounce that one, which means companion or old Bret. Oh, the old Bret, maybe that's another language or a dialect, old Bret. And that word is K-I-L-E-D. All right, well, yeah, that was a lot of interesting etymology for, it's just a party. It is a Kaylee. Next, we have ceiling. There's a ceiling right above me. There's always a ceiling, pretty much. Even when you're outside, there is a ceiling of some kind out there in the atmosphere. This is a noun from 1535. 1a, the overhead inside lining of a room. I don't know if I would call it a lining, but sometimes if it's fabric, I guess that could be a lining, but it's, you are, I guess, lined by walls and a floor and a ceiling. 1B, material used to seal a wall or roof of a room. And that, of course, was the one that we just read a couple words ago. Number 2, something thought of as an overhanging shelter or a lofty canopy, as in a ceiling of stars. Oh, it would be so fun to go sleep under the stars. 3A, the height above the ground from which prominent objects on the ground can be seen and identified. 3B, the height above the ground of the base of the lowest layer of clouds when over half of the sky is obscured. I feel like that was a lot of those in there, or at least ofs. 4A, the synonym is absolute ceiling. 4B, synonym is service ceiling. 5, an upper, usually prescribed limit, as in a ceiling on prices, rents, and wages. Ceilinged is an adjective. Okay, next is ceilometer. Yeah, noun from 1943, a photoelectric instrument for determining by triangulation the height of the cloud ceiling above the earth. Yeah, the clouds sit on a, what do they call those things? I'm not a meteorological person. Actually, it's really foggy today. I looked out the window a little bit. It was pretty foggy. Usually that's in the mornings, so it's probably gone now. I can't see out the window at the moment. But fog is basically just clouds with, there's no pressure. It's the air pressure system that's very low to the ground, and so it's literally just clouds going through the street, going through wherever you are at your level. And it's just water condensed into an area. And so if you ever wanted to go through clouds, it's go to a foggy day, and that is clouds. So what was I talking about? I lost my train of thought. Ceiling, yes, the height. There's the clouds sit on a pressure system. Sometimes it's low, sometimes it's high, and that's the ceiling above us, but it's the floor to them. See, everything is relative. Next, we have censure, ceinture, ceinture, censure. Noun from the 15th century, a belt or sash for the waist. It is a belt or a sash for the waist. It is from Middle English, ceinture, from Anglo-French, censure, from the Latin cinctura, and there's more at the word cincture. It's like the word tincture, but with a C at the beginning. Or would it be cincture? I don't know. Next, we have cell. You can spell it C-E-L or C-E-L-L. Noun from 1933, a transparent sheet of celluloid on which objects are drawn or painted in the making of animated cartoons. Yep. If you didn't know, cartoons used to be made literally drawing on these transparent pieces of, paper essentially, but it's celluloid. And they would just draw a whole bunch of them, and they would paint on the back of them. And, it's such a fascinating process. Very, very slow, but it's great. Making things come to life. Next is celadon. It is a noun from circa 1768. 1. A grayish yellow-green. 2. A ceramic glaze originated in China that is greenish in color. Also, an article with a celadon glaze. This is from a French word, celadon. Maybe I should find what this grayish yellow-green is. You know what? I'm going to say it is puke-colored, probably. Next, we have celadine or celadine, noun from the 12th century. 1. A yellow-flowered Eurasian biennial herb of the poppy family, naturalized in the eastern U.S. The scientific name is Chelidonium majus or magus. And number 2, the synonym is lesser celadine. Oh, it's not as good. Let's look at the etymology. Anything interesting to say? Let's see. This is from the Latin Chelidonius or Caledonius, which means of the swallow. Okay, from the Greek chelidonios, from chelidon, which means swallow. Not sure how that's related to this poppy, but okay. And next we have, I think it is pronounced seal. Seal, I believe. It is a suffix spelled CELE. Doesn't give me a year, and it just means tumor or hernia. That sounds bad. As in the example, varicocele. So that's something. We'll maybe learn about that later. It is from the Greek kele. I think that's probably how it's pronounced. Kele, akin to the Old English hiala, which means hernia. So tumor, hernia, suffix is seal. Next is celeb, noun from circa 1912, and we have the number 2 definition for the word celebrity, which we will see in the next episode. And our last word, we made it. It is the word celebrant. 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 Noun from 1839. One who celebrates, specifically the priest officiating at the Eucharist. Okay, well, maybe they are celebrating, but I just like the first part. It's just one who celebrates. I am a celebrant. I am celebrating April Fool's Day. Celebrant I am today. What were the words? We had Seba, seal, Kaylee, ceiling, celometer. I have to make sure I pronounce these correctly. Sancher? Maybe it was Sancher. I think I was saying censure. It's Sancher. Celadon, celadine, seal, celeb, celebrant. Well, I think I shall pick Kaylee, and specifically the more complicated spelling CEILIDH, Kaylee, which is a party, music, dancing, storytelling. That's great. Yeah. I would like to have a Kaylee with all my friends and people to hang out with. Okay, so today is... Oh, I did not move my web pages over to the proper days. Okay, it is, like I said, April Fool's Day. It is also Assyrian New Year. It is also National Burrito Day. It is Holy Thursday. Holy Thursday? It's the 44th day of... and it is the last day of Lent. Somehow they added 4 more days because I thought it was just 40. 5th day of Passover. In Cyprus, it is Cyprus National Day. It is Maundy Thursday in Denmark and Norway. In India, it is annual closing of bank accounts. So, gotta close your bank accounts today? It is also April Fool's Day in Estonia and other places. And it is, we gotta go to the clicking on the link and clicking on this and click on this. It is Veneralia was held, so it maybe not anymore. It was held on April 1st during ancient Rome. It is Odisha Day in Odisha, India. It is Arbor Day in Tanzania. It is Civil Service Day in Thailand. It is Edible Book Day? What? Edible Book Day? Why would you want to eat your books? Because then you can't read them anymore. Annual event, Edible Book Day, global event celebrated since 2000 in various parts of the world. Edible books are created, displayed, and small events are held. Doesn't say that they're eaten, but maybe they are. Oh yes, the creations are photographed and then consumed. What kind of books are these? Why? What happened? Why did this? What? Edible Book Day. All right. It is also Fossil Fool's Day. Not fossil fuel, fossil fool. Subsequent. What is it? What is it? Tell me what it is. It's about, I'm guessing fossil fuels, but I don't know. Okay, that was enough of that. And it is also Fun at Work Day. So have fun at work today. Thank you very much for listening. And until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to the dictionary. All right, today is April 2nd. We are at the end of page 198. Hello, how you doing? Please write me a review. I love hearing what you gotta say. Just have fun with it. You can message me and email me. Message me on the social media, email me on the email. You can leave me a Google Voice message and I will listen to it and maybe I shall play it on a future episode. Give me some ratings, subscribe, and share it. Share it all over the place. All right, the first word is celebrate. Celebrate. I'm gonna have to keep my chatter down because this is a little bit longer section. Okay. It is a verb from the 15th century starting with transitive. 1. To perform publicly and with appropriate rites. What are you performing? You are performing a sacrament or solemn ceremony. 2a. To honor as a holiday, especially by solemn ceremonies or by refraining from ordinary business. 2b. To mark as an anniversary by festivities or other deviation from routine. 3. To hold up or play up for public notice, as in, her poetry celebrates the glory of nature. Nature does have a glory, doesn't it? Now we have intransitive. 1. To observe a holiday, perform a religious ceremony, or take part in a festival. 2. To observe a notable occasion with festivities. And the synonym is the word keep. K-E-E-P, keep. I'm not sure how that's connected, but okay. Celebration is a noun. Celebrative is an adjective. Celebrator is a noun. Celebratory is an adjective. This is from Latin celebratus or celebratus, which is from celebrare, which means to frequent or celebrate. From celeber, which means much frequented or famous, and perhaps akin to the Latin celere. And I also would guess that it is somehow related to that fun word we had in the last episode, which was Kaylee, starts with a C-E, so maybe they're connected. I'm not sure. All right, next we have celebrated, adjective from 1580, widely known and often referred to, as in a celebrated author. And another synonym, or just a synonym, is the word famous. Celebratedness is a noun. Next is celebrity, noun from the 14th century. 1. The state of being celebrated. And the synonym is the word fame. 2. A famous or celebrated person. We are so enthralled by celebrities. We celebrate people. Why do we do this? Why are we fascinated by them? I just think that idea is so funny. And I do it too. I like celebrities. I recognize people. I know their names. I know their faces, and they are known to me. I'm not known to them, but they are known to me. And I just, but they're people just like you and me, and that's what you have to remember, aren't they? Maybe. Next we have celebutante. It is a noun from 1939. A debutante who has attracted such media attention as to be considered a celebrity. It is from combining celebrity and debutante. Why did this become a thing? I don't know. Next we have celeriac or celeriac. It is a noun from 1743. A celery grown for its knobby edible root. Celeriac. Okay, why do you want this knobby edible root? I'm not sure. The scientific name is Apium graveolens rapaceum. And it's just an irregular form of the word celery. Next we have celerity. Yep, celerity, noun from the 15th century. Rapidity of motion or action. This is from the Latin, celeritas, from celere, which means swift, and there's more at the word hold. Next we have celery. Celery, or you could just say celery. Some people like to make it 2 syllables instead of 3 syllables. Celery. I like celery. It is a noun from 1664, a European herb of the carrot family, specifically one of a cultured variety with leaf stalks eaten raw or cooked. The scientific name is Apium graveolens, and the cultured variety that you can eat raw or cooked is Apium graveolens dulce, or dulce, or dulce. I don't know how they pronounce that. Let's see. This is an obsolete French word, celeris, from Italian dialect word celery with an S, which is the plural of celero, modified. Yeah, that's good for that. A lot of people don't like celery, I don't think, but it's pretty good. Doesn't have a ton of a flavor, I don't think. But, when you put on some peanut butter on it and raisins, that is called ants on a log, and some people like it and some people don't like it. I like it fine. I don't mind it. It's not a thing I make, but it's fine. And I've heard, you don't know what the science is behind this, but supposedly celery has negative calories because it's filled with a lot of water, and there's not a whole lot of substance to it, and so it literally takes more energy to eat it than it does that you get from it. So you're burning calories when you eat celery. And I've heard, because of the way that the fibers are in the thing, that I don't know who they are, but they say that it's like, it's good at cleaning out your system, cleaning out your guts, cleaning out your intestines and colons for some reason. I don't know why. It maybe grabs onto stuff and pulls it. They say that it's the toothbrush for your intestines, something like that. I've heard that. I don't know how true it is, but, it's a vegetable, so you might as well eat it. Next, we have celery, cabbage, 2 words, noun from 1930. We have the synonym. No, it is the B definition for Chinese cabbage. So Chinese cabbage, celery cabbage, it's the same thing. Next is celery root, noun from 1947. It is 2 words, and we have the synonym celeriac, which is the one that we read before. So, yes, that's the one that said it's known for its edible root, and so you also just call it celery root. Next is celesta, or you could say celesta with a CH sound. Or you could say celeste, spelled with an E at the end instead of an A. Celeste, celesta, celeste, all of those. Noun from 1899, a keyboard instrument with hammers that strike steel plates producing a tone similar to that of a glockenspiel. This is from a French word, celesta, which is an alternative of celeste, which literally means heavenly. So somebody thought that the sounds that it makes are heavenly. I don't know if everybody would agree with that, but that's what they thought. I'm semi-familiar with these. I've definitely heard of it. I've seen them. Maybe we'll post a picture. They're not super common, I don't think. Next, we have celestial, or celestial, or celestial. Celestial. How should I say this? Celestial. That's how I'll say it. It is the first form. There are a bunch, almost all the rest of the words in this episode start with celestial. I had no idea that this word gets used so much. What is it? It is an adjective from the 14th century. 1. Of, relating to, or suggesting heaven or divinity, as in celestial beings. 2. Of, or relating to the sky or visible heavens, as in the sun, moon, and stars are celestial bodies. 3a. Synonyms are ethereal and otherworldly, as in celestial music. Oh, you know what? I bet this is related to that instrument we just talked about, because it means heavenly. The sounds came from the heaven. And where were we? 3b. Synonyms are Olympian and supreme. And number 4 is capitalized, of or relating to China or the Chinese. Okay, why? It has its own etymology. It is from celestial empire. That is the old name for China. Ah, okay. Got it. What about the regular etymology? It is from the Latin caelestis, which means celestial, from caelum, which means sky. Okay. Oh, and celestially is an adverb. That was the first form of celestial. Now we have the second form of celestial. It is a noun from 1573. 1. a heavenly or mythical being. 2 is capitalized. And we have the number 1A definition for the word Chinese. I had no idea that celestial could also mean Chinese or the Chinese Empire. That's fascinating. Next is celestial equator. 2 words, noun from 1848. The great circle on the celestial sphere midway between the celestial poles. Wouldn't that just be the equator? Or is this something above the Earth? I don't know. Yeah, okay. Next is celestial globe. Maybe this will give us more information. 2 words, noun from 1668. A globe depicting the celestial bodies. I'm guessing those would be, the planets in our solar system and maybe the constellations. Next is celestial hierarchy. 2 words, noun from 1768. A traditional hierarchy of angels ranked from lowest to highest into the following 9 orders: angels, archangels, principalities, powers, virtues, dominions, thrones, cherubim, and seraphim. I feel like we must have read that when we read angels before, right? Probably. Next is celestial marriage. 2 words, noun from 1862. A special order of Mormon marriage solemnized in a Mormon temple and held to be binding for a future life as well as the present one. Next is celestial navigation. 2 words, noun from 1939. Navigation by observation of the positions of celestial bodies. Yeah, if you don't have a GPS and you're on a boat in the water and you got to figure out where you are, you can follow the planets and the stars, and it takes a lot of studying, but you can do that. Next is celestial pole, Pole. 2 words, noun from 1848. Either of the 2 points on the celestial sphere around which the diurnal rotation of the stars appears to take place. Next is celestial sphere. 2 words, noun from 1829. An imaginary sphere of infinite radius against which the celestial bodies appear to be projected and of which the apparent dome of the visible sky forms half. That was a very confusing way to say that. I feel like it's similar to the celestial globe. It's just the, you look up above the sky, north, south, east, west, all around the globe. You look out towards the sky, and it's this imaginary sphere that's around us that goes on forever, or at least as far as the universe goes, and everything that's out there is in the celestial sphere. That's what I'm saying. And our last word for this episode is celestite, or celestite, Celestite, celestite. Noun from 1854. A usually white mineral consisting of the sulfate of strontium. Okay, so we had celebrate, celebrated, celebrity, celebutant, celeriac, celerity, celery, celery, cabbage, celery root, celesta. Oh no, that's one way to say it. Celestial, celestial equator, celestial globe, celestial hierarchy, celestial marriage, celestial navigation, celestial pole, celestial sphere, and celestite. Well, I guess I'll just pick celebrate as the word of the episode because it's fun when you get to celebrate stuff. And obviously the easiest thing I can do is celebrate this podcast. Good times. All right. What do we got today for holidays? It is April 2nd. World Autism Awareness Day. I like that because how do I put this? Well, autism has definitely become, the autism spectrum has been much more prevalent over the last 40 years probably. And this is not scientific in any way, but I have, I think, learned that I am very, very slightly on the autistic spectrum. Not that it would ever be called that. It would not be clinically that in any way, but I definitely have some tendencies in that way. And so, let's celebrate our friends who are on the autistic spectrum. It is also Good Friday. It is the 6th day of Passover. It is, in the UK, Walk to Work Day. In Belarus, it is Union Day of Belarus and Russia. It is Remembrance Day for veterans and fallen soldiers of the Malvinas War, that is in Argentina. It is also International Children's Book Day. It is Thai Heritage Conservation Day in Thailand. And what is our fun holiday for April 2nd? It is Walk to Work Day. Oh, see, that was in the UK. It's here in America as well. So if you are able to physically go walk to work or, physically go into your work, maybe you can try walking there. I actually used to do that a lot. My job is about 1.3 miles away, and sometimes I would walk there because I could. Well, I am going to end this episode, and I am going to record a short exclusive episode for Patreon. So if you would like to become a patron of this, you can give me, I guess to get exclusives, you got to go $5 a month. But if you want early episodes, it's only $1 a month. It is super cheap. You get lots and lots of episodes very early. And so the exclusive I will be reading is, I think, page 3 of the Indispensable Dictionary of Unusual Words. Go buy the book, and then you can follow along with me. That's all I got to say today. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Oh, wait, I have to sing the song. I thought of this earlier. It's time for the dictionary. It's the podcast where Spencer sings all the words. All right, that is not the song that I had in my head, which I think was much, much better, but it'll do, pig. So, at the time of recording, it is March 6th today. Last night, I recorded an episode. I was a guest on a podcast called the Water Cooler Talk Podcast. And by the time you are hearing this, it will have aired. And me and I think his name is Adam. Oh, boy. Now I feel terrible. I'm pretty sure his name is Adam. Sorry. But we had a really, really fun and interesting conversation, so I definitely urge you all to go listen. We talked about language and what is offensive and artificial intelligence and the police and so many other things. We went off on lots and lots of tangents. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. I will put their website in the show notes if you want to go. Oh, and supposedly I'm gonna get a cartoon made of my face, which is really, really cool. So I'm looking forward to that. So let's talk about the words. In today's episode, we have the first word. It is celiac. C-E-L-I-A-C. We are at the top of page 199. You could also spell it C-O-E-L-I-A-C. This is an adjective from 1662 of or relating to the abdominal cavity. So anything that is dealing with the cavity where your intestines is and your stomachs and your livers and your pancreases, that is celiac. So this is from the Greek koiliakos, from koilia, which means cavity, from koilos, which means hollow, and there's more at the word cave. Next, we have celiac disease, 2 words. I am assuming this is related. This is a noun from 1911, a chronic hereditary intestinal disorder in which an inability to absorb the gliadin portion of gluten results in the gliadin triggering an immune response that damages the intestinal mucosa, called also celiac sprue, S-P-R-U-E. I was not aware of this until relatively recently when, a lot of people were going gluten-free, and they say, well, technically none of us really need to be gluten-free. Maybe it's a little bit harder to digest, but the people who really do need to be gluten-free are people with celiac disease. And I do know a couple of people, and it sounds pretty terrible. It's really, really awesome that we are getting a lot more gluten-free foods out there, especially for people like this or for people who just choose to be gluten-free. And yeah, the word celiac, in this case, it's very specifically related to the intestines, because that is the thing that is getting messed up in people who have this because they can't digest it correctly. Next, we have Oh, this is going to be interesting. Maybe parents can have some fun conversations with their kids about this one. And the next one, it is the word celibacy. Celibacy. It is a noun from 1646. 1. The state of not being married. Okay, that's a definition for this word that I have not heard. But then we have 2A, abstention from sexual intercourse, and 2B, abstention by vow from marriage. The 2A one is the one that most people, I think, use when they're talking about celibacy, but obviously there's more. Yes, and then we have the word celibate. It is a noun from 1680, a person who lives in celibacy. So they could be not married, they could be abstaining from sexual intercourse, or abstention by vow from marriage. I guess that's abstention of sexual intercourse by vow of marriage. Is that saying that even though you're married, you still abstain from sexual intercourse? I mean, that's obviously totally fine. I was just trying to make sure that I'm understanding what that definition is correctly in my head. And then celibate is an adjective, and this is from the Latin prefix caelib or caelebs, which means unmarried. So the word originally came from just the idea of not being married. It really had nothing to do with sex. So I'm guessing at some point people said, hey, this could be a very religious thing, but they probably were like, hey, you're not married, that means you can't have sex, which in my opinion is absolutely ridiculous. People should be able to do that however they want, as long as it's not hurting anyone. So, but be careful and be smart and be safe. So yeah, hey, parents, go have a fun conversation about that with your kids. Okay, and we are already on our last word. It is cell, C-E-L-L. Man, I feel like I had a thought that I was going to say, and I can't remember what it was, but maybe I'll think of it later. So cell is going to take up a big chunk of this. There's a bunch of definitions, and there are 2 pictures with 15 parts that we have to name. Yes, we are required by law to do this. So, Cell. There's a really crazy movie called Cell that I saw in the theater, and I kind of want to see it again because it was very interesting. So this is a noun from the 12th century. Number 1, a small religious house dependent on a monastery or convent. Number 2A, a one-room dwelling occupied by a solitary person, as a hermit. 2B, a single room, as in a convent or prison, usually for one person. I hope I never have to be in one of the cells in a prison. I don't know why I would, but I hope I don't. Number 3, a small compartment, cavity, or bounded space, as 3A, one of the compartments of a honeycomb. 3B, a membranous area bounded by veins in the wing of an insect. 4, a small... Oh boy, this is a really long definition for number 4. I did not realize that. Okay, here we go. A small, usually microscopic mass of protoplasm bounded externally by a semi-permeable membrane, usually including one or more nuclei and various other organelles with their products, capable alone or interacting with other cells of performing all the fundamental functions of life and forming the smallest structural unit of living matter capable of functioning independently. Yeah, that was fun. So, yeah, just to tag on to that last part, it is the smallest unit of living matter capable of functioning independently. It is made of smaller things like atoms and molecules and other things, but, those can't really live independently. They're not, part of the body. They're... Are atoms alive? That it will be the question for the day. Let's think about... No, we don't need to think about that one right now. But I guess this is probably a good place to talk about the pictures that we have, because those are pictures of cells. We have the A cell and the B cell. I think those letters are just kind of random. They're not very specific types of cells. So let's see. Oh, actually, they are. Well, I don't think the A and the B mean anything. That was my point. But the A cell is a plant cell, and the B cell is an animal cell. So let's see. Number one is the cell wall. I don't even know how I'm going to describe any of this. Let's see. The plant cell looks more rectangular, like it has almost corners on the where the corners would be. But the B cell is much more wishy-washy. It's got curved edges. There's no like fine points to anything. And so the cell wall is just the outside of it. Let's see. Number two is the middle lamella, and so that is the part that is that's only. Oh, I see. I thought that the cell wall was on both of them, but it looks like the cell wall is only on the plant cell. Same with number two, the middle lamella. It's only on the plant cell, and it's just the little area right below the plant cell, right towards the inside. I guess you could think of, if this was your skin, it would be the epidermis and then the dermis. Those are different layers of the skin. That's sort of how I'm imagining this. Number three is the plasma membrane, and this is on both the animal cell and the plant cell. And so on the plant cell, it's the next layer just inside, and then on the animal cell, it is the outermost layer. It is the plasma membrane. Number four, mitochondrion or mitochondrion. So this is in both cells. They look pretty similar. They're sort of oval shaped, and on the inside they have some sort of weird bumpy pieces. This is the highly scientific, the way that I'm describing this. In the plant cell, they look a little smaller than in the animal cell, but that just could be, the scale of zoom that we're on. Who knows? But they look pretty similar in both. That is the mitochondrion. Number five is the vacuole, vacuole. Oh, vacuole, how great you are. So these sort of look like empty spaces. I'm sure they're not, but they kind of look like that. They've got like a black edge and then just white in the middle. So in the plant cell, it's very large. There's a couple of them. They take up maybe a quarter of the whole area, and they have a sort of weird shape. It's not consistent. But then in the animal cell, they are smaller. There's a few more of them, and they're pretty much shaped like circles. I don't know if that's the most common, but it's probably fairly common. Number six is in both of them. It is the Golgi apparatus. Golgi is capital Golgi. That's probably named after somebody. But the Golgi apparatus. Let's see. So these actually look very similar in both of them. They're 3 or 4 almost lines. They basically look like worms. In this picture, they have a black edge and just a white center. I'm sure that's not how they look in the real world. But there's 3 or 4 of them sort of next to each other in both cases. Then we have number 7. It is the cytoplasm. This is in both of them. This is basically just the stuff that's in the middle of everything else. It's in between. It goes up to the cell wall or the plasma membrane, and then wherever there's not all these other things, the cytoplasm is what's taken up the space. Number 8 is the nuclear membrane. This is in both of them. Let's see. It's pointing to a place that's, I don't know, it's sort of hard to describe. Let's see. It sort of goes around in like a circle, but then there's like a weird like tree-shaped thing that comes off of it. And in each of these, there's 2 or 3 of them in the cells. I don't know. It's a nuclear membrane. Number 9 is the nucleolus. Nucleolus, this is in both of them. So this is inside of the nuclear membrane, because the nuclear membrane, there's 2 or 3 of them, and they sort of have this arc shape, and those arcs sort of go together to create a circle. And so what's inside of that is the nucleolus. Or it is actually, it's like a nucleus of an atom. It's this sort of place in the middle that has a bunch of little things on it. It looks sort of like a bunch of little maybe atoms or molecules in a bundle. Yeah. And next we have number 10 is the nucleus, so I was wrong about that. So the nucleolus is... Okay, let's backtrack a little bit. Number 8 is the nuclear membrane. Those are the things that sort of create a circle. Then a lot of the stuff that's inside of that circle is number 10, the nucleus. But then within that, there is one smaller piece, which is the number 9. That is the nucleolus. This is fun. 11 is the chromatin. This is in both cells. These are other little pieces within the nucleus that are just sort of darker, and there's a bunch of them. Yeah. Number 12 is the endoplasmic reticulum with associated ribosomes. This is in both cells. So these are the parts that I said earlier were sort of like tree-shaped. These are the things that sort of come off of the nucleus. In the plant cell, there's 2 of them, and in the animal cell, there's 3 of them. In this case, at least. Number 13 is the chloroplast. This is only in the plant cell because they've got chlorophyll. They do that thing that I can't think of the word right now, but we'll come up to it in the CHs, whatever, chloroplasts. These look like, dark almonds. They're sort of almond-shaped ovals. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 in this example of the plant cell. And they are within all of the cytoplasm. Number 14, centriole. This is only in the animal cell. It's a white circle, and it has a bunch of little circles around it. There's 1, 2, 3... I think there's only 3 in this example. And they're about the same size as the vacuoles, which are slightly larger circles, but they don't have the little circles on the outside. And then lastly, number 15, the lysosome. This is in both cells. So they sort of look like a nucleus. It's a circle with a bunch of little circles inside. And, there's at least a couple of them, 2 or 3 of them in each of the cells. Super fascinating stuff. Oh, we are already at a long episode, so let us finish up the rest of these definitions for cell. 5A1, a receptacle containing electrodes and an electrolyte either for generating electricity by chemical action or for use in electrolysis. 5A2, the synonym is fuel cell. 5B, a single unit in a device for converting radiant energy into electrical energy or for varying the intensity of an electrical current in accordance with radiation. 6. A unit in a statistical array, as a spreadsheet, formed by the intersection of a column and a row. Yes, I deal with Excel fairly often, and it's made up of a bunch of cells. 7. A basic and usually small unit of an organization or movement, as in terrorist cells. 8. A portion of the atmosphere that behaves as a unit, as in a storm cell. 9A. Any of the small sections of a geographic area of a cellular telephone system. And lastly, 9B, the synonym cell phone. So today we had celiac disease, celibacy, celibate, and cell. Well, I think I have to pick the word cell as the word of the episode because this is what we are made of. They live and they die and they duplicate themselves, and it's what all living things are made of. But I still want to know, is an atom alive? All right, well, I guess I have to sing a song about cells. Cells, they make up your body and they're so great. All right, maybe someday we'll actually make some good songs. Okay, so real quick, let's talk about the holidays. I have not looked at these yet. April 3rd, it is the 7th day of Passover. I think we will maybe only celebrate one day. It is Easter Saturday in Australia, Norway, and Singapore. I'm guessing tomorrow must be Easter, right? It is also Holy Saturday, similar in Nigeria and Poland. And let's see, what else have we got? Anything else? I don't think there is anything else other than our fun holiday, which is World Party Day. I mean, that's you can't really get much better than that. Just go have a big party all over the world. Well, I'm going to end this there. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. It's time for the dictionary. The dictionary, it's a podcast where somebody says all the words in the book of the dictionary. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to the dictionary. Today is April 4th. It should be, hopefully. Let's see. Let's just get into the words. This will make up... It'll be a little bit shorter because we got less space, less column. But the more I talk, the more time it takes. So why do you keep on talking about things that don't matter? What does matter? These words matter. The first of them is cellar, C-E-L-L-A-R. First form noun from the 13th century. 1A, basement. It's not even a synonym. It's just basement. What word do you use? I prefer the word basement. I don't know. That's just what I grew up with. I guess maybe in my mind I think of cellar as maybe a different kind of basement. Maybe it's like not finished. Maybe it's, there's not really any space to even do anything. It's just got it's got the water heater and whatever. I don't know. But, basement, cellar, it's fine. 1B, the lowest grade or rank, especially the lowest place in the standings as of an athletic league, as in the team spent most of last year in the cellar. Sounds like they were talking about the Cubs for many, many years. Number 2, a stock of wines. Ah, yes, a wine cellar. This is from the Latin cellarium, which means storeroom, and that's good for that. So this is a very odd side note, but one of the guys in the band They Might Be Giants, John Linnell, he is releasing 4 songs. I think they're called Roman songs, and they're all in Latin. I am part of their fan club. I pay because I want to, and I get stuff, including I got to hear these songs early. So just this morning I listened to the 4 songs twice, and they're literally all in Latin, and it's great. Okay. Where are we? Second form of cellar. It is a transitive verb from 1677, to put into a cellar, as for storage. As in cellaring wine. Like you're putting it in the cellar. You're cellaring it. It's kind of weird. Next we have cellarage. It's the word cellar with A-G-E at the end. Noun from 1602. Cellar space especially for storage. Cellarage. Next we have cellarer. Now we have an ER at the end of cellar. Noun from the 13th century. An official in charge of provisions. And the example of where this official is in a monastery. An official, as in a monastery, in charge of provisions. And that is good for that. Moving on to cellaret. Cellar with an E-T-T-E or just an E-T. Cellaret. Noun from circa 1807. A case or sideboard for holding bottles of wine or liquor. A cellaret. I was thinking maybe it was going to say it's a female cellar, but obviously that doesn't make any sense. I'm just making fun of the English language because we often put at the end of things to make it female, which is why. But sometimes it's fun. Next, we have cellar master. 2 words, noun from 1955. A person who supervises the making of wine in a winery. Well, I figured it would be the person who sort of manages the wine cellar, but it's saying who supervises the making of wine. Wouldn't that be a winemaker? Cellar master? I don't know. Maybe it doesn't get used much. Next is cell body. 2 words, noun from 1878. The nucleus containing central part of a neuron, exclusive of its axons and dendrites. And then it says to see the neuron illustration, so that'll be fun. Next is cell cycle. 2 words, noun from 1961. The complete series of events from one cell division to the next. And then it says compared to the synonyms G1 phase, G2 phase, M phase, and S phase. And the 1 and the 2 in after the G are subscript. They are below the word, or below the letter in this case. G1 phase, G2 phase, M phase, S phase. Okay. Next we have cell division. I can feel my cells dividing at this very second. Wouldn't that be weird if I could, though? Noun from 1853. The process by which cells multiply involving both nuclear and cytoplasmic division. Compare to the synonyms meiosis and mitosis. I learned all of these words back in biology class in high school, and I just don't remember what most of them mean anymore because it's not a thing that I kept up with. And why would I have done that? If I were interested, in becoming a biologist of some kind, then I would have. But, I got into the video world and sort of performing. So these are not things that I needed to learn. But I think they're really important to learn. And I kind of want to learn more about this and all the other topics in the world, which is why I'm reading this book. Next, we have celled, Celled, adjective. There's no year. Why is there no year? It means having cells. And then in the middle, there's parentheses. So I'll read that. Having such or so many cells. So it just means having cells. And this is used in combination, as in single-celled organisms. And single-celled has a hyphen. Next is cell line. 2 words. It's a cell and it's a line. It's just a line. Noun from 1951. A cell culture selected for uniformity from a cell population derived from a usually homogeneous tissue source as an organ. As in, a newly established cell line derived from a human endometrial carcinoma. That is a quote from, I'm assuming this is some sort of journal or magazine, Biology Abstracts or Biologist Abstracts. It just says BIOL, so I don't know what exactly that stands for, but it's something like that. Next, we have cell-mediated, and there is a hyphen. Adjective from 1967, relating to or being the part of immunity or the immune response that is mediated primarily by T cells. And the T is a capital T, T cells. Next is cell membrane, 2 words, noun from 1852. A membrane of a cell. Oh, look at fancy that. It's just the membrane of a cell. What is a cell membrane? It's the membrane of a cell, especially the synonym plasma membrane. Next is a fun word because it is not pronounced how you think it should be pronounced. It is the word cello, but it is spelled Cello. There's an old kids program called Free to Be You and Me, and in one of the songs, I think, some guy says something about playing cello. And when I was a kid and I heard that, I thought... I may have thought that it was Jello, which got me all excited. But also I thought it was a game, it's a board game. Let's play cello. And it wasn't until years later that I realized that the cello was a musical instrument, which, don't worry, I'm going to read the definition to you. And then after that, I realized how it was spelled. I was like, well, that's not how you spell cello. Okay, so this is a noun from 1855. The bass member of the violin family, tuned an octave below the viola. Cellist is a noun. That is the one who is doing the celling. That's how they should say it. You're playing. When you play the cello, you're celling. Let's see. So this is short for the word violoncello. That must have been the original name. So is the bass, the double bass, is that not part of the violin family? I mean, I just sort of assumed it was because it's bigger but shaped the same way, but maybe it's its own family. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. I love cellos. I'd never played one, but they're good. They're good. Let's see. Next we have cellabios. Cellobiose. Cellobiose. Noun from 1902. A faintly sweet disaccharide, C12H22O11, obtained by partial hydrolysis of cellulose. And let's look at the etymology. It is from cellulose plus O plus bios, which is a disaccharide. Okay. And our last word is celloidin. Celloidin. Celloidin, noun from 1883. A purified pyroxylin used chiefly in microscopy. That's like a microscope. That is that. So we had cellar, cellarage, cellarer, cellarette, cellar master, cell body, cell cycle, cell division, celled, cell line, cell mediated, cell membrane, cello, cellobiose, and celloidin. Well, I think I'm going to pick cello as the word of the episode for a few reasons. For one, it is the only one in this list of words that wasn't pronounced the same way. It's pronounced differently than all the other ones. But also, my very good friend Jonah, who may or may not be listening. I know he likes my Instagram post, but I'm pretty sure he listens as well. He I don't know if he still plays the cello, but he did play the cello. I'm sure he still could, but he moved on to guitar. I can't even say that word. And he's a very talented musician. Also did some acting in high school, and you should go look him up. Maybe I can find I can post some information for him if he will let me in the show notes. You can go listen to his really good music. But I think he was the first one I knew who really played the cello, and I was always very impressed with his skills. So shout out to you, Jonah, and your celling. I should probably read some holidays now. It is Children's Day in Hong Kong and Taiwan. It is Independence Day in Senegal, which is independence from France in 1960. It is Peace Day in Angola. It is, what else? Let's go to this page. Oh, yes, it is Easter. I guessed that yesterday. It is National Hug a News Person Day. We're still in a pandemic, so I don't think they're going to let you hug them, but maybe if you live with a news person, then you can go hug them. It is also International Mine Awareness Day. So is that like the mines that blow up, or is it like a mine, like a cave mine? I don't know. It is the 8th and last day of Passover. So that's 8 days too. Daylight savings time ends in New Zealand. I think we already passed that in America, but I don't remember reading it. It is, let's see, Laurence Olivier Awards. That's in the UK. It's also National Hug a News Person Day in Canada, and it is Day of the Bride in Argentina. And our fun holiday, I think Hug a News Person Day is fun, but we have another one. It is Tell a Lie Day. So, don't go too far with this one. Don't screw things up, but, have fun with it. And then when you're done with the lie, you can say, haha, that was a lie. I got you. All right, I think that's enough for today. Thank you very much for listening. Oh, did I sing? I think I have to sing a song about the cello. Yeah, what do you do? What do you do here? Oh, what is that? I could do the theme song to the theme song. That's not a theme song to a commercial. They don't have theme songs. I like to play the cello. CELLO. That's good for that. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Word nerds, what do you know? You know lots of words. Hey, let's talk about them. This is the podcast called The Dictionary. I hope you knew that. The first word is cellophane. CELLOPHANE. Noun from 1912. Regenerated cellulose in thin, transparent sheets used especially for packaging. This is French. Cellophane. This is from cellulose plus the suffix PHANE, phane. Let's see, that is used in diaphane or diaphanous. And that is all it tells me. Next, we have cellophane noodle. 2 words, noun from 1958. A translucent noodle made from mung beans. And I think they just call it cellophane because they're pretty translucent. Not because they're made out of cellophane or cellulose. Although maybe cellulose is in there. I don't really know how that works. Next is cell phone. 2 words, noun from 1984. Although I'm pretty sure it was made before that. A portable, usually cordless telephone for use in a cellular system. A lot of people like to say mobile phone or mobile phone because it is mobile. But yeah, I just say cell phone. Next is cell plate. 2 words, noun from 1882. A disc formed in the phragmoplast. That sounds like a made-up word. A phragmoplast of a dividing plant cell that eventually forms the middle lamella of the wall between the daughter cells. We learned about the middle lamella 2 episodes ago when I talked about cells. Also in that episode, I mentioned that I was a guest on the Water Cooler Talk podcast, and this word phragmoplast reminded me that we played a game where he asked me 6 words, and I had to guess if they were real or fake. So you'll have to go listen to that to see how I did. Okay, we are on cell sap. Cell, and then the word sap, like the sap that comes from a tree. 2 words, noun from 1871. 1. The liquid contents of a plant cell vacuole. 2. We have the synonym cytosol. 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 That's going to be one of the last words we read in the letter C. Next, we have cell theory. 2 words, noun from 1859. Okay, this is like 3.5 lines long. A theory in biology that includes one or both of the statements that the cell is the fundamental structural and functional unit of living matter and that the organism is composed of autonomous cells with its properties being the sum of those of its cells. Okay, that is the cell theory. Next we have cellular. First form adjective from circa 1739. 1. Of relating to or consisting of cells. We are cellular. 2. Containing cavities. And also having a porous texture, as in cellular rocks. Can you use them as a cell phone? Cellular rocks, cell rocks? I don't know. 3. Of relating to or being a radio telephone system in which a geographical area, as a city, is divided into small sections, each served by a transmitter of limited range. And I think there might be a sneeze coming. As in cellular phones. Thank you very much. Yes, cellularity is a noun. That is from the New Latin cellularis, from cellula, or actually I think it would be cellula, which means living cell. From, that is the diminutive of the Latin cella, which is a small room. Cella. Yes, they say k sounds for C's, even if it's before an E. Okay, next is the second form of cellular, noun from 1987. The synonym is cell phone. Next is cellulase or cellulase, noun from 1903, an enzyme that hydrolyzes cellulose. The last 2 letters went over to the second line, and I needed to see the whole word so I knew how to say it. Hydrolyzes, an enzyme that hydrolyzes cellulose. That is what cellulase is. Next is cellule. Cell plus U-L-E, cellule, noun from 1652, a small cell. Cells are already very small, but some of them are smaller. Next we have cellulite or cellulite, noun from 1968, deposits of subcutaneous fat within fibrous connective tissues, as in the thighs, hips, and buttocks, that give a puckered and dimpled appearance to the skin's surface. Yes, we all have this. Some people have it more than others. I think you tend to get more of it as you get older, especially if you don't eat right and exercise. So, let's do that first. Before we have any surgeries, let's make sure we eat right and exercise, and also know that this is just a thing. It's just there. Don't worry about it. Nobody cares. This is French. Literally means accumulation of subcutaneous fat. That is a very concise word for a long concept. Accumulation of subcutaneous fat. Cellulitis from cellule, which means cell, plus that's good there. Next we have cellulitis, noun from 1861. Diffuse and especially subcutaneous inflammation of connective tissues. Now, this is a bad thing, right? So anytime you add itis to the end of something, it becomes bad. So if this is a thing that you're dealing with, maybe you can get that checked out. Next, we have celluloid, noun from 1870. 1. A tough, flammable thermoplastic composed essentially of cellulose nitrate and camphor. 2. A motion picture film, as in a work making its third appearance on celluloid. That is a quote from John McCarten, McCarten. Yeah, sometimes people just call motion picture celluloids because the film is made out of its celluloid. But people don't say that anymore. And then celluloid is also an adjective. And it says that this is from the word celluloid with a capital C, which is a trademark, which I'm guessing is the etymology for the motion picture one of it. There must have been a company that said, this is called celluloid, this is our film, go make movies with it. Next we have cellulolytic, adjective from 1943. Hydrolyzing or having the capacity to hydrolyze cellulose. I don't have anything clever to say about all these words, these sciencey words. Next is cellulose or cellulose, noun from 1848. A polysaccharide, C6H10O5. Oh, that's in parentheses, and then there's an X below that. So, there could be multiple versions of that, I guess. So it's a polysaccharide of glucose units that constitutes the chief part of the cell walls of plants, occurs naturally in such fibrous products as cotton and kapok. I think I saw that before, kapok, and is the raw material of many manufactured goods as paper, rayon, and cellophane. Next is cellulose acetate, 2 words, noun from 1895. I shall spell acetate because some of you, if you try and spell it, you might spell it incorrectly. ACETATE, acetate. So this is any of several compounds insoluble in water that are formed especially by the action of acetic acid, anhydride of acetic acid, I'm losing my place, anhydride of acetic acid and sulfuric acid in cellulose, and are used for making textile fibers, packaging sheets, photographic films, and varnishes. And then our last word is cellulose nitrate, noun from 1880, and we just have the synonym nitrocellulose. They just sort of flipped it. Cellulose nitrate, nitrocellulose. So we had cellophane noodle, cell phone, cell plate, cell sap, cell theory, cellular, cellulase, cellule, cellulite, cellulitis, celluloid, cellulitic, cellulose, I can't speak, cellulose acetate, and cellulose nitrate. Well, let's see. I think I'm going to pick celluloid as the word of the episode because it is the thing that got us to be able to make movies and watch movies, and so that's great. I think most of us enjoy that. But my song is actually, I'm going to sing a little thing about the word cellophane because there is a song, I'm not super familiar with it, but I know there's a song in the show Chicago called Mr. Cellophane. And it's basically, he's singing the song because he feels like nobody ever sees him. He feels see-through, and, people don't care. Anyway, I think the only part I know is cellophane, Mr. Cellophane. That's all I know, pretty much. That's all That's all the words. That's what it is. So today is April 5th. In the U.S., it is Deep Dish Pizza Day. I would like to get some deep dish pizza. It is Dingus Day. I had to click on the link to figure out what that is. It is spelled Dyngus, and it's a Catholic celebration. It's also known as Wet Monday. So it's something about dousing people with water in a playful way. So I guess that's sort of fun. Dingus Day. It is Easter Monday across the world. It is Family Day in South Africa. In India, it is National Maritime Day. It is Cold Food Festival. In China, it is, in the Palestinian territories, it is Children's Day. In South Korea, it is Sikmogil, something like that. And then, what is our fun holiday for April 5th? We got two. Read a Roadmap Day. I think a lot of younger people especially, don't really know maps. We use our GPS and stuff, but, they never really had to read a map. So go learn how to read a map. It is also First Contact Day. Does that mean that we're going to have first contact today? No. Let's see. Fans of the sci-fi series Star Trek celebrate First Contact Day on April 5th to mark the day in 2063 when humans make their first contact with the Vulcans. All right. Well, I will be 83 years old, 82 actually, when that happens. So let's find out if we make any contact with anybody on that day. And I will be done with this podcast by then. All right, well, I think those are all the things that I got to say today to you. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Welcome to the dictionary. I think all these theme songs that I sing are very similar, because that's what I think a theme song should sound like. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to the dictionary. We are getting super loopy. We are at the end of page 199. How did we get here? If you want to give me money to keep on doing this, you can do that. I don't technically make money on this. I try to just send that money to other patrons. But, start it off with me, and you can get episodes early, and then I will then donate to other Patreons, and I will get something out of that, so everybody wins. If you just give me some money, please give me money. You can rate and review. I would really, really love some reviews on this. Those are always great to see. Please subscribe. If you subscribe, you will make sure to get all access to all of the episodes, because I think once we hit 999, or really 1,000, you may not be able to hear all the old ones. So make sure you go do that if you haven't listened to them already. What else? Share this. Tell some people about this podcast. If you have a podcast, this is a new thing I'm doing, starting really this month. If you have a podcast, I would maybe like to be a guest on it. I am open to talk about most things. I don't have to be an expert on it. I'm not an expert on anything, actually. But yeah, I want to get a little bit more into being a guest on other people's podcasts. Or other things like that. So yeah, let's make that happen. Okay, our first word is cellulosic. 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 Adjective from 1881, of relating to or made from cellulose. And cellulosic is also a noun. Next is cell wall. 2 words. Noun from circa 1849. The usually rigid, non-living, permeable wall that surrounds the plasma membrane and encloses and supports the cells of most plants, bacteria, fungi, and algae. And then it says to see the cell illustration, which, whoa, it's right there. It's just next to it. It's in the first column, and we're reading in the second column. That's never happened before. Okay, next we have celosia. Celosia. Noun from 1807. There's only one L in this word. Any of a genus of tropical annual herbs as cockscomb. What is this word? Cockscomb. Cockscomb. Cockscomb? How do you say that word? We'll find out later. Let's start this one over. Any of a genus of tropical annual herbs of the amaranth family that have alternate leaves and showy flower spikes, often forming feathery clusters in cultivated forms. Maybe I shall find a picture of this cockscomb. I don't know. And the genus is also Celulosia. This is from the Greek kilios, which means burning. From the Greek kain, which means to burn. So maybe it burns you? Okay, next we have Celsius. You could also say, some people say Celsius. I've never heard that. Capital Celsius. Adjective from circa 1850. There's a lot of information here. Relating to, conforming to, or having the international thermometric scale on which the interval between the triple point of water and the boiling point of water is divided into 99.99 degrees, with 0.01 degrees representing the triple point and 100 degrees the boiling point. Wow, I had no idea that was so specific. But yes, okay, so in Celsius, maybe I should just finish this up first. As in 10 degrees Celsius. That's how you use it in a sentence. Also, the synonym centigrade. And I've always wondered, I always thought that centigrade and Celsius were the same things, but then I was sort of questioned it. Are they really the same thing? But yes, I think they are the same thing. And then it is abbreviated to just a capital C. This is from Anders Celsius. So he made up this scale. So if I'm remembering all my stuff correctly and reading this correctly, water boils at 100 degrees Celsius. I believe it freezes at 0 degrees Celsius, which, this system makes way more sense than our Fahrenheit system here in America and a couple other places in the world. Most places use Celsius. So, we should probably get on that. It just makes so much more sense, doesn't it? It does. Trust me on this one, because I think in Fahrenheit, water freezes at 32 and it boils at like 212. I think it's 212. These numbers don't make any sense. This is so dumb. Just like our measuring system, inches and miles. This is so silly. Oh, let's just do things that make sense. Okay, those are my thoughts for the day. That's Celsius. Moving on to Celt, C-E-L-T, noun from 1715, a prehistoric stone or metal implement shaped like a chisel or axe head. It is a celt. This is from the Latin celtus, which means chisel. Next we have Celt or Celt. Most people say Celt. It is capital C-E-L-T, but it looks like it is pronounced Celt, and some people say that, and that is okay. This is a noun from 1550. 1. A member of a division of the early Indo-European peoples distributed from the British Isles and Spain to Asia Minor. 2. A modern Gael, Highland Scot, Irishman, Welshman, Cornishman, or Breton. Or do you say Briton? And then Gael is G-A-E-L, like Gaelic. Gael. Yes, they are Celts. That is good for that, I think. Hello to all of my Celts. I hope you are enjoying this American ruin the English language. Next we have Celtic or Celtic. First form with a capital C. Adjective from 1590 of relating to or characteristic of the Celts or their languages. Second form of Celtic is a noun from 1739. A group of Indo-European languages, usually subdivided into Brythonic and Goidelic, and now largely confined to Brittany, Wales, Ireland, and the Scottish Highlands. And see the Indo-European languages table for more information. Goidelic. I have never heard that. Goidelic. Okay. Next we have Celtic cross. 2 words. The C in Celtic, the first C is capitalized. Noun from 1873. A cross having essentially the form of a Latin cross with a ring about the intersection of the crossbar and upright shaft. And then it says to see the cross illustration. Next is Celticist or Celticist. Noun from 1912. A specialist in Celtic languages or cultures. Next is, it is spelled Cembalo. It is pronounced cembalo. Cembalo. Noun from circa 1801. The synonym is just harpsichord. It's sort of like a piano. It's a cembalo. This is an Italian word. Next and last word for this episode is cement. We have 2 forms. The first form, it's spelled Cement, if you didn't know. Noun from the 14th century. 1A, the synonym is concrete. Although I think they might be different, but they are similar. 1B, a powder of alumina, silica, lime, iron oxide, and magnesium oxide burned together in a kiln and finally pulverized and used as an ingredient of mortar and concrete. Ah yes, cement is an ingredient in concrete. But then it says also any mixture used for a similar purpose. 2. A binding element or agency, as 2A, a substance to make objects adhere to each other. 2B, something serving to unite firmly, as in, justice is the cement that holds a political community together. That is a quote from R.M. Hutchins. 3, we have the synonym cementum. So it's the word cement with um at the end. Is that going to be in tomorrow's episode? Cementum. Yes, it is. Number 4, a plastic composition made especially of zinc or silica for filling dental cavities. 5, the fine-grained ground mass or glass of a porphyry. 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 And then the second form of cement is a verb from the 14th century, starting with transitive. 1, to unite or make firm by or as if by cement. 2, to overlay with concrete. Intransitive says to become cemented. Oh no, I have become cemented. Cementer is a noun. So we had cellulosic, cell wall, cellosia, Celsius, Celtic, Celtic cross, Celticist, cembalo, and cement. I am going to pick Celsius as the word of the episode because we need to get on this Celsius train. The Celsius train is the train that takes you to all the degrees in the Celsius land. Screw Fahrenheit. Okay, let us talk about some holidays real fast. Let's see. Today is April 6th. It is International Day of Sport for Development and Peace. Well, that sounds good. It is National Tartan Day. Tartan. Is that like the Scottish tartans? Oh no, there's an ad. Go away, ad. Yes, like the Scottish tartans. It is Easter Tuesday in Australia. They keep on celebrating Easter. They love it so much there in Australia. It is Southland Anniversary in New Zealand. It is also Tartan Day in Canada. And in the UK, it is UK Tax Year Start. Ooh, that reminds me, I have to do up my taxes. They are due on April 15th for all of you who got to do your taxes as well. Let's see. Here on this other page, it's going to tell me anything different. In Thailand, it is Chakri Day. It is National Fisherman Day in Indonesia. It is also New Beer's Eve in the U.S. New Beer's Eve. So tomorrow is National Beer Day. So that's why it's the eve. So people love their beer so much, they had to make another holiday about beer. And then our fun holiday is Sorry Charlie Day. What? Recognize everyone gets rejected sometimes in his or her life. Sorry, Charlie. Yes, that is true. Sometimes things don't go right. Sometimes you get rejected. It's okay. You're only going to grow from those situations. So, go out and be rejected and become stronger and better. Harder, better, faster, stronger. Let's see. I think that's all I got to say. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to the podcast. It's my podcast. It's called The Dictionary. That was a terrible way to start this episode. Before I get started, I just want to give a little bit of a shout out to a podcast I've been listening to. It is called Invisibilia. I think it's made by NPR. It's been going on for 4 or 5 years, maybe 6, something like that. Anyway, I've been listening to it, and it is really, really fascinating and educational. I've been learning a lot, so I highly recommend listening to Invisibilia. The episode I was listening to earlier today is about frame of reference, and what is your frame of reference? And you very likely there are lots of other frames of reference that you're not aware of. And the first they talked to one person for the first half of it about her experience with life, and she is on the autism spectrum. She was diagnosed with Asperger's, which is a term that I don't think is really used anymore. But she has a fascinating story, and I just really think it's interesting, and I connected with her story especially. Anyway, let's talk about the words in today's episode. Top of page 200. We made it to another 100 pages. I was thinking today, how many words are on a page? Let's see. In this episode, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I'm thinking, 10 to 15 is probably the average, which is making me think that each page has about 40 to 60 words on it, give or take, which means I have, if my math is correct, I have talked about 12,000 words so far. I think that's right. Maybe I'll keep a tally. Okay, so the first word is cementation. It's like cement with an ation at the end. Noun from 1594. 1. A process of surrounding a solid with a powder and heating the whole, that's WHOLE, heating the whole thing so that the solid is changed by chemical combination with the powder. 2. The act or process of cementing, and then also the state of being cemented. When I say things like that, and then also, that's because there is a colon after the first part, before the second part, and I don't know what that is exactly. Maybe I should look at the beginning of this book to figure that out. It doesn't say also, it's just another similar but different part of the definition. All right, next we have cementite. Cementite, noun from 1888. A hard, brittle iron carbide. Oh, and then the symbols are Fe3 and then C. Fe, I think, is iron. So there's 3 of those, and then 1 C, which is carbon. A hard, brittle iron carbide that occurs in steel, cast iron, and iron-carbon alloys. Cementite. Next is cementitious. I don't know why I find this word funny. Cementitious. This is an adjective from circa 1828, having the properties of cement. It is cementitious. That sidewalk is cementitious. Next is cementum. Cement with a UM at the end. This was, I think, a synonym in the last episode. Somewhere around there, I believe. Yes. Cement, number 3, cementum. So what is this? It is a noun from 1842. It's probably just cement, but let's read it. A specialized bony layer. It's not cement. A specialized bony layer of connective tissue covering the dentin of the part of a tooth, normally within the gum. And then it says to see the tooth illustration. So part of the tooth is the cementum. Next is cemetery. Cemetery. Noun from the 15th century. The definition is just a burial ground. There's a bunch of etymology. Let's see if any of it is interesting. This is from the Greek koimeterion. That is a sleeping chamber. So I guess if you wanted to think about it that way, it's a place where people are sleeping forever. Also, just burial place. That is from koimon, which means to put to sleep, akin to the Greek word kisthai, which means to lie, from the Sanskrit word set or seat, sete, something like that, sete, and that means he lies. So it is a cemetery. Next is CEMF, all caps, abbreviation for counter electromotive force. No idea what that is, but I assume we will get to that probably later. Maybe. Next we have, let's see, cenacle. I think that is how you would pronounce it. Cenacle. 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 Noun from 1889. A retreat house, especially one for Roman Catholic women, directed by nuns of the Society of Our Lady of the Cenacle. It's sort of like tentacle. Maybe all of these nuns have tentacles? No, that's silly. This is from the Latin, lower Latin, canaculum. I think that is canaculum. I think that's how you would say it. That is the room where Christ and his disciples had the Last Supper. Didn't know that room had a name. Also from the Latin, which means top story. Don't know what the word is. Is it the same word? Canaculum? I don't know, but it's top story. Probably from their word cena or sena, which means dinner. So, the cenaculum or the canaculum is the room where you eat dinner. I wonder if they named it after the Last Supper, or they had the Last Supper there because it's a room for eating dinner. I don't know the history about that, but yeah, and then it became just a retreat house. I think I have spoken about that enough. Let us move to a suffix, cene. It means recent. This is for in names of geologic periods, as in the Eocene, and that is spelled Eocene, the Eocene, recent. This is from the Greek kainos, which means new or recent, and there's more at the word recent. And actually, if you look at the word recent, the CEN is there at the end. They put the T there instead of the E, but it sort of has its own suffix in it, kind of. Next, we have the word Cenobite, Cenobite. Before I was recording this, I was like, oh, there's the word Cenobite is in here. I said that to my wife because she's a horror fan. I guess I'm a horror fan too, and there are Cenobites in the movie Hellraiser. I didn't know it was a real word. By the way, you could also spell it Coenobite. So what is this? Why is it in this book? It is a noun from the 15th century. It is a member of a religious group living together in a monastic community. And cenobitic or cenobitic, that is an adjective. This is from the lower Latin koinobita, from koinobium or koinobium, which means monastery, from the lower Greek koinobion, which is from the Greek prefix koin plus bios, which means life, and there's more at the word quick. Man, quick. How does that get in here all the time? Yeah, so it's that's what it is. You know, the Cenobites in Hellraiser, I don't think I would call them members of a religious group living in a monastic community, but maybe I just don't know enough about them. If you're old enough, I think it's a fun movie to watch. You know, it's not perfect maybe, but there's some really cool effects actually in there from the 80s. Next we have cenotaph or cenotaph, and that's a PH at the end. This is a noun from 1578, a tomb or a monument erected in honor of a person or group of persons whose remains are elsewhere. So their body was something happened to it at one place, but then they've got a tomb or a monument for them, and that is a cenotaph. This is from the French cenotaph, from the Latin cenotaphium. Let's see, from the Greek kinos, which means empty, plus taphos, which means tomb. Aha, we've figured it out. So yeah, it's from the Greek word kenotaphion, which basically means empty tomb, and that's what a cenotaph is. But now I'm thinking of taffy, cenotaphy. Next we have cenote, 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 noun from 1841, a deep sinkhole in limestone with a pool at the bottom that is found especially in Yucatan. This is a Mexican-Spanish word from the Yucatec word. How would you pronounce this? Tsonote? It is T-S apostrophe O-N-O-T. Tsonote. That's what I'm going to guess. But then, we just say cenote. It's a big sinkhole, but it has a pool at the bottom, so you can jump down. Maybe you're going 5 feet, maybe you're going 5,000 feet, but then you get to hang out in a pool. Next, we have Cenozoic or Cenozoic, capital C-E-N-O-Z-O-I-C, adjective from 1841, of relating to or being an era of geological history that extends from the beginning of the Tertiary period to the present time and is marked by a rapid evolution of mammals and birds and of angiosperms, and especially grasses, and there's a lot of ands, and by little change in the invertebrates. Also, relating to the corresponding system of rocks. Those would be the rocks that correspond to that time period. And then it says to see the geologic timetable. Yes, I shall. And Cenozoic is also a noun. Okay, next is sense. C-E-N-S-E. There is a great Animaniacs song from back in the day. This would have been the early 90s. That's all about sense and all these different ways that you can use the word sense. Or words that sound like sense. There's this one, and then there's sense, C-E-N-T-S, like dollars and cents. There's your sense of smell. They go through all that. If I feel like it, maybe I'll put in a clip here.
There are scents you can smell like cologne from Chanel or the sense of expensive perfume. There are scents of flowers we hope overpowers the kitty box next to your room. Phew.
There's a sense of pride you have deep down inside.
When you practice a sense of fair play. There are dollars and cents that you pay at a toll. Or the census man who is taking a poll.
And a sense of confusion we're out of control.
So this is a transitive verb from the 14th century. To perfume, especially with a censer. And that is C-E-N-S-E-R. It's very similar to the way my name sounds, Spencer. To perfume, especially with a censer. But I don't know what a censer is. Don't worry, that is our next word. But before we get to that, let's look at the etymology. It is probably short for incensen, which means to offer incense. Oh, and then yes, the word incense has sense in there. To perfume, I have not seen perfume used as a verb, so that's a little bit weird to me. But yes, I guess to make something smell good, to put the smell out there, I guess you could say, to perfume. Anyway, so let's move on to censer. This is a noun from the 13th century. This is the thing that is doing the perfuming. It is a vessel for burning incense, especially a covered incense burner swung on chains in a religious ritual. Aha, so it's much more specific, because I've never heard of that. I've heard of incense burners, but you could also just say it's a censer. Okay, next is our last word, which is censor again, but it is spelled C-E-N-S-O-R. This is the first form. It is a noun from 1526. 1. A person who supervises conduct and morals, as 1A. Or would it be morals? I think there would be an E if it were morale, right? But this one has no E. Anyway, 1A. An official who examines materials, as publications or films, for objectionable matter. I gotta say, I'm not a big agreeer on this. That's not how you speak. I just don't like the idea of censoring things. Anyway, let's move on to 1B. An official, as in time of war, who reads communications as letters and deletes material considered sensitive or harmful. 2. One or two magistrates of early Rome acting as census takers, assessors, and inspectors of morals and conduct. So this looks like it came from the word census. They were census takers, but they were also inspectors of morals and conduct, so they became censors because they probably censored things. Number 3, a hypothetical psychic agency that represses unacceptable notions before they reach consciousness. I've never heard of this, but it's hypothetical, so theoretically it doesn't exist. Sensorial is an adjective. So yes, this is from the Latin, the censor, which is a Roman magistrate. They would probably say censor, though. From censere, which means to give as one's opinion or assess. It is perhaps akin to the Sanskrit word samsati, which means he praises. But that doesn't make any sense to me. That he praises and then censoring things, deleting things, deciding what is moral, those don't really make sense to me. So, but I guess there's some similarities with the Sanskrit word. Those are just my thoughts. Okay, so that is it for today. We had cementation, cementite, cementitious, cementum, cemetery, CEMF, cenacle, scene, cenobite, cenotaph, cenote, Cenozoic, sense, censor, and censor. I think I shall pick censor as the word of the episode, but not the last one, the one that is spelled CENSER. It is the thing that burns incense. I guess partly because, sometimes, incense is nice. I haven't burned incense in a very, 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 very long time. But, it's the thing that allows you to do that. And that's, sometimes incense is nice. And also it sounds a lot like my name. So, okay, that is... Oh, and then now I gotta sing a song about censor? Do I really have to do this? Yes, Spencer, you said that you would do this, so you have to do this. A censor is a thing that scents. What is scents? It's stuff that smells good. All right, let's talk about the holidays. I found a new holiday. No, I found a new holiday. Whoa, look at that holiday. It was just hanging out there. Nobody knew it. I found a new website for the fun holidays, so I'm going to use that instead. It gives a whole lot more. It is National Beer Day in the U.S. It's also World Health Day. It is International Day of Reflection on the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi in Rwanda. So that's good. It is also National Walking Day, so go take a walk. It is also, what else is it? In Belgium, it is homage to the Belgian soldiers deceased during peacekeeping missions. In Mozambique, it is Mozambican Women's Day. In Switzerland, I don't know what this means, but it is Nafelser Fart. It's 2 words, Nafelser, and the word fart, F-A-H-R-T. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. If I'm not, that's okay. I like it anyway. What does it mean? I do not know. In Brazil, it is Press Day Brazil. Oh, and then also in Switzerland, why didn't you put these next to each other? It's it's Fartsfest. F-A-H-R-T-S-F-E-S-T. Fartsfest. Is it the festival where they are praising the farts that come out of your butt? Probably not, but that's what I would like to believe. Let's see what else. It's Flag Day in Slovenia. It is Motherhood and Beauty Day in Armenia. In Tanzania, it is Sikh Abid Amani Karume Day. And what is our fun holiday? Oh, we're not going to use that website. That's bad website. Okay, it is April 7th. As I said, it is National Beer Day. It is National No Housework Day. So don't do any housework. Don't do the dishes. Don't do any cleaning. Don't do any laundry. None of that stuff. Don't do it. And then, as mentioned, it's National Walking Day and National World Health Day. By the way, this website also tells me all of the things that this month is, so maybe I should just say them right now since I'm on a new website. It is in April, Couple Appreciation Month, Distracted Driving Awareness Month, Keep America Beautiful Month, Move More Month, I'm trying, National Decorating Month, National Garden Month, National Humor Month, Every month is National Humor Month to me because I find all the months hilarious. National Internship Awareness Month. National Pecan Month. Ooh, let's have some pecan pie. National Pet Month. National Soft Pretzel Month. What about hard pretzels? Do they get their own month? National Soy Foods Month. Yes, maybe this month you can replace all of your meats with soy meats or other meats like that. Prevention of Cruelty of Animals Month. This is good. Animals should not be, there should be no cruelty towards animals all over the world. Please and thank you. Scottish American Heritage Month. Sexual Assault Awareness Month. Yes, that should also be every month. And then Stress Awareness Month. Be very aware of your stress level and meditate and chill out. Well, that was a long enough episode. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, this is Censored Dispensing Information. Goodbye. Hello, word nerds. Welcome to the dictionary. It's the podcast where he talks about all the stuff. What happened? Where are we? So, I wanted to say, it's stupid, but my wife and I just bought a dragon fruit from the store because we have never had a dragon fruit ever before. So that should be fun. We watched a video just a few minutes ago about how do you do this? How do you cut it? How do you make it? And it looks really, really easy. So I can't wait to try it. Tell me your thoughts on dragon fruit. You can message me on the social media or email, all those things. So the first word is censor, second form, censor. This is a transitive verb from 1882. To examine in order to suppress or delete anything considered objectionable, as in censor the news. As I said in the last episode, I don't like this. I don't think things should be censored. I understand that sometimes, top secret files, maybe some people shouldn't know about some things, and maybe it's okay in that case. But in general, I feel like books should be out there, words should be out there. You shouldn't be censoring movies. I don't know. That's just my thoughts. And then also to suppress or delete as objectionable, as in censor out indecent passages. What is indecent? It is in the eye of the beholder. Next is censorious, adjective from 1536, marked by or given to censure. And that is spelled censure, which we will get to shortly. As in censorious comments, also as in a censorious critic. They love to censor things. This is from the Latin censorious, or probably censorious, and that means of a censor. And then it says there's a synonym. See the word critical. Censoriously is an adverb, and censoriousness is a noun. Next is censorship. It is a boat that you can't see because they have censored it. It is a noun from circa 1591. 1a, the institution, system, or practice of censoring. 1b, the actions or practices of censors, especially censorial control exercised repressively. 2, the office, power, or term of a Roman censor. 3, exclusion from consciousness by the psychic censor. That goes to the hypothetical psychic agency that we learned about in the last episode. Okay, that's that. Next is censurable. Censurable. Adjective from 1634. Deserving or open to censure, as in censurable behavior. Next is censure. Censure. First form, noun from the 14th century. 1, a judgment involving condemnation. Number 2 is archaic. Synonyms are opinion and judgment. 3, the act of blaming or condemning sternly. 4, an official reprimand. You don't want to get one of those censures. Second form of censure is a verb. I think it is just transitive. From 1587, one is obsolete. The synonyms are estimate and judge. 2, to find fault with and criticize as blameworthy. And then a synonym is criticize for all of it. And censurer is a noun. Next is census. Noun from 1634. 1, a count of the population and a property evaluation in early Rome. 2, a usually complete enumeration of a population, specifically a periodic governmental enumeration of population. Number 3, synonyms are count and tally, and then census is also a transitive verb. We just did the census last year, didn't we? Didn't we do that? Yes, we did. Hopefully you filled out all the proper information, because it helps to for cities to get proper budgetary things when everybody does that, and just so we know who's where and who's what. I guess I do see partly that's maybe like, oh, maybe it's infringing on our freedom, our privacy, but I think it's there's more good than bad that comes from those, probably. I don't know the details. I should know these things, but I don't know nothing. Okay, moving on to cent, C-E-N-T, first form, noun from 1782. 1, a monetary unit equal to 1/100th of a basic unit of value. And then it says to see lots of words in the money table. So maybe each of these types of money, which I will read, use cents as 1/100th of them. So there's beer, B-I-R-R, dollar, euro, leon, lilangeni, nakfa, rand or rand, rupee, and shilling. So those maybe have cents as well. Number 2, a coin, token, or note representing 1 cent. 3, the fen of the People's Republic of China. The fen is F-E-N. Let's see, this is a French word, which means 100, from the Latin centum, and there's more at the word 100, because it is 1/100th. Next is the second form of cent. It is an abbreviation for 1, centigrade, 2, central, 3, centum, and 4, century. Now we have cent again with a capital C. It is an abbreviation for central. Next is cental. It's almost like central, but it is cental. C-E-N-T-A-L, noun from 1870. It is chiefly British, and we have the number 1 definition for the word hundredweight. Yes, that is one word, hundredweight. I'm not entirely sure what this means, but we'll find out when we get to the H's. Next is centos, C-E-N-T-A-S, noun from, where is it? Circa 1934. It looks like the plurals of this are centai, C-E-N-T-A-I, or centu, C-E-N-T-U. Those are odd plural forms in my brain, but this is not a typical English word, because it just says, see the word litas, L-I-T-A-S, in the money table. So maybe, this is the 1/100th version of that money, maybe? I don't know. This is a Lithuanian word, probably from the French centime or the English cent. Yeah, anyway, maybe it's the Lithuanian money. Next is centaur. How do you want to say this? Centaur? Centaur? C-E-N-T-A-U-R, noun from the 14th century. Any of a race of creatures fabled to be half human and half horse, and to live in the mountains of Thessaly. Capital T-H-E-S-S-A-L-Y. Thessaly. Is that in Italy? I'm not sure. This is from Latin, cantorus, from the Greek cantoros. That's all that says. They just made up that word for half humans, half horses. Okay, next is Centauria, noun from circa 1829, any of a large genus of composite herbs as bachelor's button, including several cultivated for their showy heads of tubular florets. And the genus name is Centauria. What is with this first part, centaur, meaning like combined things? This is a composite herb. Does that mean it's combined from things? Then the centaur is combining humans and horses? Where did this come from? Maybe we'll learn it soon. I don't know. Okay, next is Centaurus. Capital Centaurus. Centaurus. This is a noun from 1870. A southern constellation between the Southern Cross and Hydra. So I see the word Taurus is in there. So I wonder if that's, which is that a bull? But it's probably based on centaur, the half human, half horse, right? We should probably find out what this constellation looks like. I betcha it is a half human, half horse. And our last word is centauri, or is it centauri? Centaur. It's a centaur. I don't know how to say this word anymore. Centaur. Centaur? Centaur. I'm just going to say centauri. Centaur with a Y. Noun from the 14th century. Any of a genus of low herbs of the gentian family, especially an old world herb that produces pink flowers and is used in herbal medicine. Okay, so the genus name is Centaurum. We have a couple scientific names. Centaurum crithrea. How do you say this? Crithrea. Also, Centaurum umbellatum. And what is the etymology? It's from centaur or centauros. I don't know why. Does it look like a half horse, half human? Probably not. Those were all the words: censor, censorious, censorship, censurable, censure, census, cent, cental, centos. What was that? Oh, there's the money. Centaur, centauria, centaurus, and centauri. I want to pick centaur as the word of the episode. The horses are running. The horses are running. Oh my God, they have humans on top of them. That is it for the words. That is it for the words. Oh, I did not update my web pages. Today is April 8th. It is Holocaust Remembrance Day here in America. It's also Rex Manning Day. In Sweden, it is Romanians' Independence Day. It is, which is maybe also International Romani Day. That's maybe also in Romania. The other one was Sweden. I don't know. Let's see. It is also, click on the thing and click on this thing. It is also Buddha's birthday in Japan, also known as Hana Matsuri, which is the flower festival. And it's already time for the fun holidays for April 8th. There's just one. It is National Empanada Day, so go have some empanadas. Okay, I think I've spoken enough for that. Thank you very much for listening, and until next time, this is Spencer's... What do I do? Dispensing information. That's what I do. Goodbye. Word nerds, what about those word nerds? They are here to listen to me talk about all the words. Welcome to the dictionary. Thank you for joining me. How lovely to see you. Yes, I can see you. The first word is centavo. C-E-N-T-A-V-O. First form noun from 1883. It just says to see Boliviano, Cordoba, Lempira, Peso, and Quetzal in the money table. This is Spanish, and it literally means hundredth. Centavo means hundredth. From ciento, which means hundred, from the Latin centum. Next is the second form of centavo. Noun from 1913. 1. A former monetary unit equal to 1/100th Portuguese escudo. Number 2, it says see escudo and metical in the money table. Lots of monies. Next is centenarian. Centenarian. This is a noun from 1790. One that is 100 years old or older. And centenarian. Oop, there was a little bit of a burpy thing there that happened. Centenarian is also an adjective. I kind of want to become a centenarian. I want to live as long as possible so I can see how the world changes. I don't want to be decrepit. I don't want to be falling apart. I don't want my brain to be going. I want to have all my wits about me and stay active and healthy. But as soon as I am not like that, I'm done. I'm out of here. But I would like to hit that milestone. That would be cool. We're seeing a lot more of them, by the way. As medical technology gets better and people are, just being healthier in general. There's a lot more centenarians. Centenarians, that's the word. Okay, next we have centenary. This is, it says especially, that's a different pronunciation. This one is, it's a noun from 1788. We have the synonym centennial. And then centenary is also an adjective. So the centennial would be like the 100th anniversary of something. In 1976, we had the bicentennial, so that was 200 years. This is from the Latin centenarius, which is of 100, from centeni, which is 100 each, from centum, which means 100, and there's more at the word 100. But it looks like the British say centenary, because of course they do. Next is centennial. Hey, that's what we were just talking about. Good thing they're right next to each other. It is a noun from 1876. Oh, interesting. You see what I'm seeing there? 1876. It is a 100th anniversary or its celebration. Centennial is an adjective, and centennially is an adverb. So when you turn 100, you are celebrating your centennial. So it looks like maybe they invented this word at the 100th anniversary of America? Is that possible? Was it not a word before then? Okay, well, so we're already on our last word for this episode. It is the word center, C-E-N-T-E-R. There's two forms. There's going to be a lot of information here. It goes a bit past where I usually end my episode, so this one will be a bit long, and the next episode might be a little short. It's fine by me. Okay, center, noun, the first form from the 14th century. 1a, the point around which a circle or sphere is described. Broadly, a point that is related to a geometrical figure in such a way that for any point on the figure, there is another point on the figure such that a straight line joining the 2 points is bisected by the original point. That is a terrible way to describe that, but it does make sense. And then it is called also the center of symmetry. 1b, the center of the circle inscribed in a regular polygon. 2a, a point, area, person, or thing that is most important or pivotal in relation to an indicated activity, interest, or condition, as in a railroad center, also as in the center of the controversy. Ooh, what is the center of the controversy? Is it a person? Is it a situation? Is it a thing? Is it a dog? How could a dog be the center of a controversy? I don't know, but it's possible. 2b, a source from which something originates, as in a propaganda center. 2c, a group of neurons having a common function, as in respiratory center. 2d, a region of concentrated population, as in an urban center. 2e, a facility providing a place for a particular activity or service, as in a daycare center. 3a, the middle part, as of the forehead or a stage. That's the example. It's just the middle part. 3B is often capitalized, and we have then sub ones. We have 3A, 1 and 2 and 3. So I messed that up completely. 3B has 3B1, 3B2, 3B3, and all of them are often capitalized. Clear as mud. Okay. 3B1, a grouping of political figures holding moderate views, especially between those of conservatives and liberals. 3B2, the views of such politicians. 3B3, the adherents of such views. 4A, a player occupying a middle position on a team, as 4A1, the football player in the middle of a line who passes the ball between his legs to a back to start a down. It's probably a quarterback. Maybe someday I'll actually learn all of the terms or all the names of the players on a football team, because I don't know most of them and I don't understand most of them. Okay, 4A2, the usually tallest player on a basketball team who usually plays near the basket because they're tall and they can block it better. Okay, 4B, the synonym is center field. 5A, either of two tapered rods which support work in a lathe or grinding machine and about or with which the work revolves. That was a hard thing to say. And then 5B, a conical recess in the end of a work for receiving such a center. And then the example is as a shaft. What is that? Is that like a mine shaft? A conical recess in the end of work as a shaft for receiving such a center. Don't really understand that, but that's okay. Centerless is an adjective. How can something be centerless? Isn't there a center to everything? I'm thinking of physical things, but I guess other things might not have a center. This is from Middle English, centra, with a T-R-E at the end. From the Latin centrum, from the Greek kentron, which means sharp point, or center of a circle. From kentine, which means to prick, probably akin to the Old High German Handtag, which means pointed. Okay, now we have the second form of center. This is the very last word. It's a verb from 1590, starting with transitive. 1. To place or fix at or around a center or central area, as in center the picture on the wall. Oh, yes, please. I hate it when things are off center. Number 2, to give a central focus or basis, as in centers her hopes on her son. Well, that's a lot of pressure. Also as in, the plot was centered on espionage. 3, to adjust, as lenses, so that the axes coincide. Lenses, would that be, probably the lenses in a camera lens or something, probably. Moving on to 4A, to pass from either side toward the middle of the plane area. And the examples of what you are passing is a ball or a puck. 4B, to hand or pass backward between one's legs to a back to start a down. And the example is a football. And yes, of course, that's connected to the one that we talked about in the last word. 5, to play center on, as in center a line in hockey. And then we have one intransitive definition, to have a specified center, and a synonym is focus. Focus. Please focus. Okay, we have some usage information for this second form of center, which is great. The intransitive verb center is most commonly used with the prepositions in, on, at, and around. At appears to be favored in mathematical contexts. The others are found in a broad range of contexts. Center around, a standard idiom, has often been objected to as illogical. The logic on which the objections are based is irrelevant, since center around is an idiom and idioms have their own logic. This is great. Center on is currently more common in edited prose, and revolve around and revolve around and similar verbs are available if you want to avoid center around. Well, that was just lovely. So our words today were centavo, centenarian, centenary, centennial, and center. I am going to pick centenarian as the word of the episode because I want to become one. Centenarians are really old. They've been on Earth for 100 years. Yes, they have. Okay, let's talk about some holidays. Maybe I'll save that one for the fun holidays. It is, in the UK, Grand National Ladies' Day. It is, in Finland, the anniversary and day of the Finnish language. And that is also called something that I will mispronounce, which is Mikael Agricola. It is, in Denmark, Occupation of Denmark. Not sure exactly what that is. Let's see, maybe that's the anniversary of the German invasion of Denmark. That's another thing that's today. Maybe it's the same thing. I don't know. In Iraqi Kurdistan, it is Baghdad Liberation Day. In the Philippines, it is... it has two names, both of which I don't understand. Batan Day, which is spelled Bataan, or Araw Kageskange. Oh, sorry. Sorry, my mouth doesn't make these words. I apologize. But let's look at what it is. Let's give it some more exposure. It is Batan Day, or Batan and Corregidor Day, national observance in the Philippines, which commemorates the fall of Batan during World War II. Why don't I know where Batan is? It must have been, it must be in the Philippines. Okay, let's back. In Kosovo, it is Constitution Day. In Georgia, it is Day of National Unity. That might be the country, Georgia. In Finland, it is Day of the Finnish Language. In Tunisia, it is Martyrs' Day. In Thelema, it is Feast of the Second Day of the Writing of the Book of Law. It's a lot of information there. There are 4 instances of the Feast of the Second Day of the Writing of the Book of the Law. That's crazy. It is in the U.S. National Former Prisoner of War Recognition Day. In the Troth. What is the Troth? The Ring of Troth, American-based international heathen organization. Okay, so it's a group of people. The Troth, it's remembrance for Hakon Sigurdsson. And then it is Vimy Ridge Day in Canada. So many holidays today. Okay, so the fun holidays. National Name Yourself Day. So give yourself a good name today. National Winston Churchill Day. And then National Unicorn Day. So, go celebrate some unicorns. I think that's all I got to say. Thank you very much for listening. And until next time, this is Spencer dispensing information. Goodbye.